Hello everybody, my name is Hjelte and welcome back to the second episode of our Ultimate CIs 2.0 series. Last time we met Esme, a young budding artist who was unfortunate enough to end up in the most inhospitable place on the Rim. But just in her first 2 days here, she has repeatedly proven herself a gritty survivor. She has managed to collect a great deal of resources, build a small base that can, to some extent at least, withstand the extreme temperatures of this RimWorld. We still have a lot of ship chunks scattered around the map, because Randy saw fit to send us free last episode, along with 60 units of Megasloth wool that we're forced to simply gawk at. We also have 214 units of steel up here, but they are currently well outside of Esme's range. Here you can see Esme's crowning achievement so far, when she managed to land a perfect hit on this polar bear. Killing the bear and the rabbit also means that she has earned her first skill point in shooting. For now though, Esme will sleep off her hypothermia for the next few hours. Unfortunately, just as Esme is about to be hypothermia free, Randy decides to make mischief, creating some solar flares, completely circumventing everything we've set up to protect Esme against the cold. So our series may very quickly turn into a demonstration of how long nudists can withstand extreme temperatures. Our fire does still have 6 hours left, and we have 3 units of wood here to prolong that a bit further. So Esme is just going to refuel it when she wakes up. Just as the 5th snap hits, Esme is up and refueling our fire. It is currently 109 degrees below zero and falling. However, indoors, we are still only 27 degrees below Esme's minimum comfortable temperature. So the fire is doing good work, and showcasing exactly why we built the smallest possible room that would still be usable later, that is. It has become time for Esme to eat. Unfortunately, the temperature inside has already fallen to around minus 30 degrees Celsius. And Esme's hypothermia is very quickly becoming serious. And there it is. As Esme's hypothermia hits 40%, outdoors we hit minus 120. One of the additional worries of hypothermia is the mood impact. If Esme has the wrong mental break, it will without a doubt kill her. But on the other hand, having the right mental break here would be very beneficial. If she breaks, but survives this ordeal, we may essentially be getting a 40-point mood boost for free. Unfortunately, the loss of digits, meaning fingers and toes, from frostbite is a considerable risk at the moment, because she is most likely going to be downed before she finishes tending to it. Yeah. But fortunately for Esme, Randy is too curious about how she intends to survive out here to let her die just yet. Now it does say 65% here, but a little time passed. 62 is death's extension in this biome. If Esme had any serious wounds or ailments, we wouldn't tend to them unless absolutely necessary, of course, before her hypothermia went down to at least shivering. But the 10 quality of frostbites doesn't matter usually. Alright, Esme's hypothermia is about gone, so she can start by cleaning up her blood. And then we'll move a few things around. There. Because it's time to build a research table. Specifically, a wooden research table. which is going to cost us 75 units of wood and another 25 units of steel. We won't be running the same risk as we did last time, but we still need all the steel we can get. So instead, we're going to rely on Kay's minor passion for intellect and a generally well-heated base to keep her from breaking. But that does mean she won't be afforded basic comforts like a bed anytime soon. For exactly that purpose, we'll also build an additional heater straight away. And we will most certainly need it once we get closer to winter. Our hair is also going to spoil in a day. So we are going to return it to nature for now. Now that Esme is out here though, she is going to haul a bit of steel. Esme is going to haul a bit of steel. Let's just get that wood indoors now that we're at it. Then Esme will get a bit of rest while she waits on her hypothermia. Esme is going to build the research table now. Now she'll get started on researching batteries. A short while later, Esme takes a break to grab a late night snack before returning to her research. However, she won't be researching for long, because it's time to collect the last steel. That makes exactly 300 units of steel, which we'll put to good use. But for now, we'll leave her to her own devices for a few hours. As our morning snap hits, Esme's hypothermia has finally disappeared, so it's time to expand. We are going to use 100 units of steel to build a 6x4 with a door, which is bigger than is ideal in these temperatures, but it should serve us well later on. It will also function as both insulation and a freezer in the future. However, putting the door in the western side of the room will make the trip to our turbines longer. But we need to conserve our resources. Later on, we can build another door. Esme's frostbite has healed, but at around 110 degrees below zero, her hypothermia is progressing rapidly. So this is going to take several trips. We can only hope that she won't waste too much steel. Esme spends the next 10 hours switching back and forth between building and researching. But at 4 PM she's almost finished, and more importantly, she has only gone 4 units of steel over budget. However, she is both tired and hungry, so we'll let her get a bit of rest for now. A few hours later, Esme is both hypothermia free and ravenous. So she's going to grab a quick dinner and finish building our freezer. Unfortunately, Randy has other plans as the wind has completely disappeared, which means that we've lost power to 2 of our heaters, and Esme's hypothermia is coming back with a vengeance. So instead of waking her up, we'll let her hit starving, and we do that in the hope of preventing a mental break by letting her sleep through as much of this dead wind period as possible, without letting it take too much of a toll on our food supply. While Esme is eating, she also gets serious hypothermia. Fortunately, the wind is picking up now, after having mockingly turned the heaters on and off for the last few hours. And Esme takes the opportunity to rest in the expectation of having to venture out in the cold the very moment her hypothermia is gone. She should be able to do it in one trip. Well done, Esme. She did end up spending 7 units more than intended. But everything considered, we certainly can't be unhappy with that. However, before she finishes the roof, she wants to pray to Randy. And we need all the help we can get, so we'll let her. Esme was so unwilling to go back outside again that increasing her priority of construction wasn't enough. We actually had to lock her out. And now that she is out here, Esme is going to start expanding our roof. Like in the last series, we will add an additional 3 tiles of roofing to our base. It will protect Esme from the soaking wet debuff and help her with shooting in bad weather conditions. However, it will take several trips. So Esme is going to spend the next few hours roofing and researching. Notice that we left the door open here. We won't do that once we build a heater in there, but for now it saves a little time, and because of how rooms and temperature work on the rim, it still insulates Esme's room. Esme is going to get some lunch and continue to divide her time between roofing and researching. In the early evening, Esme is finally done with our roof, but she has gotten serious hypothermia, so we best get her back inside. And just as Esme goes to bed, another snap expires. However, in spite of that, the temperature continues to drop, because it unfortunately happened at night. The wind has died twice during the night, so when Esme gets up, she is both ravenous and plagued by hypothermia. Fortunately, the wind seems to have stabilized, but so has the temperature. So this time around, Esme won't be able to take advantage of the 2 snaps expiring together. So instead, once she has wolfed down her breakfast, she's going to build a wooden pen indoors and a smelter. We are prioritizing the smelter here because it is the best investment on sea ice, despite the fact that it's exceedingly demanding both in terms of steel and electricity. It is going to cost us 170 units of steel and 2 components. And we continue to want to preserve our steel over our wood, although we certainly don't want to go below 60 units of wood if we can help it. But I consider the 10 units needed for the pen a very good investment. Esme is also going to build the corners here, because it will add insulation to both of our rooms. So it seems like 10 units of steel well spent. We're going to have Esme finish the tile here. There's also a bit of roof that she forgot the first time around. Now she'll return inside to wait out her hypothermia before she continues. And we have the second event of today's otherwise quiet episode, and it is potentially a very good one, because a silver meteorite has crashed onto the sea ice. Well, it's not a bad size. Regrettably, it is up by the steel. Consequently, there is no way for Esme to reach it. However, silver isn't currently high on the wish list for us. But look at this corner of the map. All the things we want most are up here. Both construction and clothing material and food. But at least for now, we can only watch helplessly as it deteriorates. And not to be forgotten, we still have 4 meals down here. Looking on the bright side, at least Esme is making fine progress on our battery research. And a few hours later, she's ready to continue building. However, finishing the smelter is going to take 2 trips. Once again, the wind is throwing a wrench at Esme's head, so she can continue constructing our smelter before the early evening. Good work, Esme. But before you go back inside, you best build an unconnected power line here, so we can turn everything on and off without Esme having to flick a switch. And I'm just going to set up our smelting orders. A few hours later, Esme decides to take advantage of the pen we put up earlier and get herself a heavy dose of hypothermia. When she's done, we'll have her go to bed. She will probably be able to make it till morning without becoming starving. And I think this is a fine place to end today's episode. Randy has been unnervingly quiet in these first 2 episodes, but at least Esme has used the time well to expand our base considerably. And I suspect that things are going to pick up very soon. If you want to find out what happens next, remember to click the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it'll be much appreciated. Thanks for joining us.